Miles here again with Cannon Lasers and Smith Family Racing. Today we're doing part 2 of the 2019 Yamaha YZ250F top end rebuild. So I've already done all the work. I've got it put together and whatnot. The cylinder and piston came in from Millennium Technologies. So again, huge shout out to those guys. It was perfect. Ring gap, everything spec'd out. Didn't have to do anything to it. So with that, the main focus of doing this was to help you guys learn how to shim your valves so you have the proper clearance. So what we did is this entire top end is brand new. Everything from the cylinder up, everything completely brand new OEM. So I'm going to walk you through the process and how to do it instead of just kind of going through the work. When I kind of get in the zone to do things, the last thing I think about is recording. So I'm just kind of going after it and doing a step-by-step for you guys. So I'm going to turn the camera over to the engine, show you what I've done, and I'll explain how I did it. Okay, so here we go. All right, as you can see, we got it all put together. Okay, so this is your intake side. This is your exhaust side, and you can tell because your exhaust has the decomp. Okay, so what I've done here, and I'll grab a pointer. So if you guys recall from my last video, the cam journals, which are these guys on either side, were just completely trashed. Okay, so we did new valves. You can't really see down in there, but you can see a little bit of shine. So we replaced the valves, the springs, the keepers, the seats, everything, and the buckets. Okay, so what you do is you put your engine at top dead center. Okay, and you know you're at top dead center when you have these little indents in your cams. There's one right there, and then you have two on the top. Okay, and then there's one right there, and you have two at the top. And when you're at top dead center, if you can see, that single dot aligns with the top of the head on the casting, this surface right here. Okay, and then what you do is down here, you pop your ignition covers off, and there's, I believe this was a 17 millimeter bolt inside of here, or I'm sorry, nut. And then you have, this is like a sight window with a little notch at the 12 o'clock position on the casting itself. And your flywheel in here is going to have a mark that will align with that notch in the casting. So when that notch is lined up and those two dots are lined up and your lobes are facing upward, just like this, pointing in on either side, you know that your engine is at top dead center. Okay, from there you can shim your valves now. So your spec on the intake side, all right, is 0.12 to 0.19 millimeters. And this is where you have your valve shim kit. Okay, and I'll show you what that looks like. So just hot rods, you can order this guy on Amazon, and there's two different kinds of kits. You can get the, I believe these are the 9.48 millimeter diameter shims, and then you have the 7.48 millimeter diameter shims, which is this kit. Okay, now this particular engine takes the 9.48 shim kit, which I'll show you right here. So these guys are quite a bit bigger in terms of diameter to the 7.48 kit, which we'll kind of do a side-by-side here, and you'll definitely be able to tell the difference. So see the top one, these are the 7.48, those are the 9.48. So quite a bit of a difference. All right, so the 9.48 millimeter kit is what you need for a 2019 Yamaha YZ250F. Okay, so with that said, let me put this back to the side here, and I will show you my clearances and how we go about doing that. So you want to make sure that that everything is torqued down, because that's how it's going to be operating, right? So you can't just have your cams in here with your cam cap bolts loose, because you're going to get an inaccurate reading, all right? So the way that I go about doing this is I always like to be on the tighter end of my clearance spec. And part of that is because my feeler gauges go from 0.13 to 0.23 in kind of odd increments. So I don't have a 12, I don't have a 14, I don't have a 17, a 21, a 22, or a 24. So what we're going to do is we're going to go with what we do have, which is 0.13, 0.15, 0.18, 0.20, and 0.23. Okay, so for the intake side, we're only going to be concerned with 13, 15, and 18. All right, now since I told you I've already shimmed these, and you'll see this here, so I'm going to go in with my 0.13, and we're going to go right under the lobe, and you see there's some drag there. You can hear it if you listen real careful. Okay, that's what you want. Same on the other one. Okay, there's some drag there, so I know that at 0.12 millimeters I am in spec because 13 drags. Okay, so now we're going to go on the high side, 0.18, and we're going to try to fit this guy in there, and you can see he won't go. He does not go in there. So that means that we are within our spec range, and that's where we want to be. Okay, so now we're going to repeat the same thing on the exhaust side, and for this side we're only going to be concerned with 0.18, 20, and 23. And sorry, I'm moving the camera here, I'm just trying to get these popped out. Okay, so on our exhaust side, our clearance spec is 0.17 to 0.24. And if you recall what I just said, I always like to go in the middle of that range. So 0.18, 0.20, 0.23. So on this side, we're going to come right over here, and we're going to do the same thing. Okay, so 0.18, you can see that guy has some drag. 0.18, he's got some drag. So that's good. I mean, we're over that 0.17, so we're going to put him away, and you can check it with the 20 or the 23 if you want to know where you're at. I'm just kind of doing a go no go because I know that 18 and 23 are still both within spec. So I'm going to try to do the 23, and you can see he does not want to fit. Sorry, I'm kind of moving the engine. Okay, so we'll go to the other one, and you can see he doesn't want to fit. All right, so with that, part of the video, or part of this, is I want to be very clear and show you guys where to put this, because a lot of videos that you see for guys shimming valves, they don't show you. So in case you have a question, okay, this is your lobe, all right? And you want to go between the lobe and the bucket, which is, sorry, my camera's giving me some issues. The bucket is right here. So you need to put your shim or your feeler gauge between here and the bucket where they mate, okay? So just to be clear on that, that's how you do it. So with that, you guys can see my timing chain is still loose because I haven't put my adjuster, I haven't let him go yet to put tension on it. So with that said, guys, we're going to wrap this up here. So your cam bolts have a torque sequence, okay? And Yamaha was kind enough to put that on each of the covers. So we have a 1, and then we have a 2, and it's kind of hard to see on the camera, but you can see this one well, 3, and then 4, which is this guy, okay? And then the same thing on this side. You've got 1, 2, 3, and 4, okay? So the way that you torque these, your torque spec on these bolts is 7.4 foot-pounds of torque, or 88.8 inch-pounds if that's where you're going, okay? Or if that's what you're using. So what you do is you go in the order, in the sequence. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now the way that I do this is I will get the cam set, and you want to make sure your journals and everything, all your mating surfaces are clean, no debris, and you want to use some assembly lube on this. So I use this stuff by Maxima. This stuff is awesome, and I've never had any issues with it. It works well, and it smells good. It smells like cinnamon. So yeah, if you care about that. But anyway, so I will hand tighten these, okay, and then I'll go back over and just give it like a quarter of a turn just to put some thread engagement on there, some tension, all right? Then I take my torque wrench and I will go back through and do the same sequence at those torque specs. So you do 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So very, very simple, very straightforward. And then once you get that done, you want to go back through again with your feeler gauges and check your clearances once you get it to this point, which is what we just did. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to drop a comment. I mean, this is, a lot of people can think this is very intimidating, but it's very simple. It's not that hard. You just have to have some patience and follow some direction, okay? So you can always refer to your service manual, which you can find those online on Google, and you'll get all your specs, your torque specs, I mean everything. And that's the way you want to do it. That's the correct way to do it. So with that, guys, we're going to button this thing up. I do have to drain all the fluids out of this right now because the bottom end, come to find out, still has some oil in it. Not a big deal. And then we're going to throw this thing in the bike, get all the new coolant and everything added, and fire this thing up, and she'll be good to go. So guys, if you would please like, subscribe, and share if you're enjoying this content, and we'll be putting some more stuff out soon. I do know that over the winter time, this winter, I'll be doing some work on the Vet MX 450. Just some general maintenance on the KTM 450, and we got some quads and all that great stuff that I'll be doing, just some routine maintenance on. So this process is very similar across majority of bikes. I know KTM a little bit different in certain things, but the basic mechanics of all this is the same across the whole gambit. Okay. It's very, very simple, very, very straightforward. So don't be intimidated. I'm not an expert by any means. But I've been doing this for quite a while, and I taught myself how to do it. So some of my methods may not be whatever the purists like to call them, but I do things according to the manuals and how they're supposed to be done. Yeah, that's just the way we do it. So again, thanks a lot, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share. Have a good one. See ya.